Howdy folks, Andy here of Andy's Addictions. If you have found this channel, it could be for a few reasons. One is that you follow me because I'm the weird guy who keeps doing lots of modifications to a BMW G310GS and unashamedly enjoys doing it. Or because you're interested in building rally towers or seeing what other people do in terms of building rally towers. And it's a project I've always wanted to do, and I thought, why not do it to the G310? It should all be doable, and it'll improve on a few things over my old setup. I really wanted to get like the mini fairing that I've had on the bike has been good, and it works, it's very functional. But I really like the idea of getting the tablet screen a little bit further away from me on the bike, so I can sort of see it a little bit easier when I'm standing. And I also want to get the weight off the handlebars. It's not a massive problem having the weight up there, but you kind of know it's there. And the best solution I was thinking is obviously a rally tower. Now, the thing that's a little bit different is I've decided to have a crack at installing a rally tower that's actually from Aliexpress, which is kind of red flag number one. And then the second red flag is it's actually for a different bike. It's actually for a Voge 300 Rally. Which is actually a pretty interesting looking bike. I don't think we have them in Australia, but anyway. So that's the second red flag in this project. So hence we're going to be doing some custom stuff. But I was pretty confident that we wouldn't have to do that much to make it fit. So yeah, so that's the plan. We've got this Aliexpress Rally Tower, or Navigation Tower. We're going to jerry-rig it to fit the G310. And we're going to work through the plan and basically what I'm trying to do. Well, here we go. Here it kind of is. Now, this isn't obviously just everything that came from AliExpress. I've been doing a lot of work up until this point, just figuring out the jigsaw puzzle of all this and what's going to work. Okay, the core AliExpress parts are obviously this main structure, the screen, and then this base, and this base is the part that actually bolts to the bike, and then these holes can line up, and you actually, it's kind of cool. You have a bit of adjustment on where the tower sits on the base that mounts to the bike. Now, what made me think early on that this would work on the G310 is the fact that it on the bike it's intended for, and on a lot of other bikes, I guess probably as well. I haven't pulled many apart, but on the headstock part of the frame, you have two lugs that come out, and then the lugs would slide up inside this, the base in this case, and bolt to the front of the frame that way. The G310 does basically exactly the same thing with all the standard stuff, except it's all plastic. And so it's just two holes, essentially. Now, what I've had to do to make that work is a little bit of custom work, but let me just show you. We'll take this over and have a look what I mean on the bike itself. So here it is with the whole front end disassembled, but the critical thing is that we have these lugs here welded to the head of the frame, and so the idea is that this will just bolt onto there, which it does, and works quite well. So yeah, so that's basically the same concept as on the bike that the Rally Tower actually is intended for. Now, there's a couple of things that worked well to make this bracket fit. A couple of things. So the spacing between the two plates that would go on the standard bike is wider on the Voge than on the G310. And it turned out quite nicely that the difference is 6 millimeters. So the lug on the G310 is 6 millimeters narrower than it would be on the Voge. And what that meant is I've been able to use, to make an adapter plate, just two plates of 3 millimeter aluminium. And then that sits on there really nicely, like it's a really good fit. I've got the bolts running through there at the moment, but I will show you what that looks like when you actually bolt it up. But yeah, and I've then just been able to sort of offset. So the holes on the G310 are wider, kind of in this vertical axis, but narrower in the across on the horizontal. So it's really just a simple one-dimensional plate, and I've done a few things in terms of bolt holes. So these are the, as I said, the holes that would match up with the G310. Now that hole is shared, so this bolt will go through this top lug, and that goes through the bottom lug, but the actual black, that's the Voge Aliexpress part, had to have some custom holes drilled. So I've run additional holes onto this aluminium plate, and that just started out as a square plate of 3mm aluminium. And I've put bolts through here to support this structure sort of more across the adapter plate, and then a big M8 hole through here to be, further support towards the back. Now, a little surprise with this part from the AliExpress kit. I thought for sure it would be maybe aluminium, best case. Worst case, maybe mild steel, which would make it heavy, but on the flip side, easy to work with. This sucker, turns out it's actually stainless steel. Why they use stainless, I don't know. Normally, when you go AliExpress, you kind of expect to get Swiss cheese. But yeah, cheese it is not. I actually ended up having to go to a machine shop to have these holes drilled because I just couldn't get through it with my simple gear. I just got like a hand drill, and I had some cobalt drill bits and had to go. No joy. The machine shop had to go straight to carbide drill bits to drill this. So that was a little bit more of a hassle than I needed. Kind of a strange surprise anyway. So we got that portion. Now what I've ended up doing, the structure itself is currently assembled as it would be for the Voge. I've obviously already added a new tablet mount for the Samsung tablet. The difference is previously I was just using the USB port in the tablet. This RAM mount includes charging via the pogo pins. I was constantly having problems with the USB cables and whatnot, so I just wanted to try running the pogo pins. Now I'm not using the lights that came with the AliExpress kit, only because weirdly the lights that they provided are those like multi-function lights. So you add 12 volts to them and they'll start out constant white. You disconnect 12 volts, reapply 12 volts, and then suddenly they're constant yellow. Then you disconnect, reconnect, and they'll flash white, or they'll flash yellow. And I just went, this is not good for something that needs to be kind of road legal. So I ditched those. I'm using these steady C4 LEDs. They've just got their covers and stuff on them while I'm working on it all. One is a flood, one is a spot. I'm opting to run the flood highest up, the spot down low. And then for kind of like a running light, I've got two of the steady, I think they're called like MC something lights. They've just got a blue film that'll come off and they'll just be on constantly whenever the bike's on. What else have I done? I guess what I would say is, like, when someone would say, why go AliExpress? There seems to be a lot of these available. I think I should be able to get these pretty easy. If I break it in a crash or something, just get another one. So yeah, I mean, they're cheap, but not super cheap. It's like $400 and something. But considering the time that it saves and all that, yeah, why not? And the fun. It's like Lego. So yeah, anyway, that's where that's at. So let's go and we'll show how some of this stuff bolts up. Okay, I've just buttoned down the two bolts on that front base for the tower. Now, a couple of important clearance things. We want plenty of clearance under the ignition barrel here, so that when we turn the bars, we're not rubbing any wiring under the ignition. That would be super duper annoying if we hit that and bore through. And then you can see we have adequate clearance at the bottom. So good free movement of everything. So that's the base. Again, clearance can fit fingers between the base and the fork tube. And again, clearance out this side. So that's the base. Fits good, feels, look, strength. I don't know, you just gotta kind of wait and see. But anyway, it fits. We're off to a good start. All right, let's bolt this sucker up. So let's grab a couple of these guys. Let me just slide that over here. Now I've got a few different positions that I can use, which is cool. I'm going to go the sort of closest, second to the closest to the rear of the structure. I won't go crazy putting all these in because I do still have to pull this down a fair bit to do things like the wiring, which will be just a whole other, we'll do that as a whole other sort of chapter in this little rapid build. Okay, so I'm not gonna talk that up for now, but let's just have a bit of a look. I think this actually is gonna look pretty cool. So there we go. View from the bars. I think we can say that it's going to fit. And then, the other part that will probably happen is I've got these temporarily, but these like type of like turnbuckle struts, and they can bolt in there to just give a bit of extra triangulation, so that when we're in the rough stuff, we don't risk the whole thing falling apart. Because Aliexpress, I don't know, this could be a terrible idea. But anyway, this is fun. This is really, really fun, and messing around with like getting all the lights in the right setup is interesting. But yeah, it gives you a pretty good idea of how this is all going to go. So yeah, there we are at this stage. All right, so I can't help myself. It's bolted on enough. There's crap hanging everywhere, but I really just. I got to go for a little ride, even though nothing's connected. Pretty sure the bike will start even with all this stuff unplugged. Let's see what happens. Ignition, just check. We are in neutral. All right, let's go. Okay, so the first little thing is it's not vibing. I mean, it's reasonably rigid, but I'm rocking the bike from this, not from anything else. Alright. Okay. I got stuff hanging out everywhere, so this is going to be a pretty... Oh, look, there's yours truly. Oh, that's potentially going to be great. So stand up, like full attack. That's like an eye glance down. That's pretty sweet. Let's go for a little cruise around the yard. I mean, it's going to bounce around a bit. I think that's, oh good, you get to see my reflection, like, flicking around. So, yeah, and that's without the little side struts, by the way. You know what? I think we should put those little sides on. I've just buckled down these side supports, which, like I said, will be done differently. But let's just go for that same little ride again, and just see if it helps support it even more. Oh, actually, before I do that, like as I said, check this out. I mean, I've got some rubber here. So as for the overall rigidity, like, that ain't bad, eh? So let's see. Let's try it again. Okay, steering clearance is good. Grab a gear. I don't know, maybe it's helped. Yeah, I reckon that's helped. But I mean, everything's going to have some level of movement. One thing I would say for the handlebar mounted mini fairing is those suckers are, they are very rigid. There's just the whole, it moves around with you a bit. But yeah, look, overall, proof of concept I think's pretty nice. It's such a different feeling. Anyway, that's the start of it all, folks. That's our rally tower fairing project.
I have to say, very officially underway. Boom. Alright peeps, until next time we've got to do electrics. So all of this needs to go somewhere. Make a decision on fairings. I do really like the idea of not having all that, but yeah. Aliexpress Rally Tower. So far so good. Look forward to testing it for real. Alright, see yous.